love how the new guys still haven't changed the access and stuff, but it's all good. We're still in transition anyway. So this is a sort of a lighthearted type of podcast because I received a question, and it seems like a very common one anyway. And the question basically goes like, so I'm at the start of my trading journey, if you like, or career, whatever, right? So, um, what does my future look like? So that's a very sort of big general question, but it's just kind of funny because what your future is dependent on what you want, right? Each one of us has their own specific goal, right? You could be a guy who is dying of student debt right now, a lot of student debt, and you're wanting to get some more income from trading to help pay for that. Or you could be a guy who did everything right, you don't have any debts, you got a nice house or a condo, whatever, and like I said, you just want to make a lot of money. So it just really depends, right? For me, I started I started in the professional route and then got to where I am. But the initial goal, right, when I was definitely younger and dumber, is to make a lot of money because I don't want to work. I don't want to work for someone else. And that was the biggest motivator or driver for me to really succeed, right? So I suppose there's some introspection required on your part to think about what you want out of trading. Are you just trading because you're envious of your friends making a lot of money? If that is so, may not be the strongest reason. It may work. I don't know. May not be the strongest reason. I do this because I love doing this. I've always had a knack for trading and understanding markets. But you may not have that, or you may have that too. It just really depends on what your goals are, right? So the reason I'm even trying to talk about this is because you'll keep revisiting this on the bad days, not the good days. The good days you could care less because you're in cloud nine. You're having way too much fun. You're in euphoria land when you're in that stage, right? It's when you're having a bad day, when you have a loss, and you're just like, crap, why am I still doing this again? That's when all these bad things or bad thoughts rush into your mind, into your head, and it's never going to be fun. So it's important that you do have a very honest conversation with yourself. You could even include your partner or your dog. It's up to you. But it's just it's just good to be honest, right? To with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, then you're not going to be very honest with anyone else. Okay? So the question that was asked again, where should I see myself in 5, 10, 20 years? The answer is as broad as you want, right? So for me, I can only answer from my end, right? 13, 14 years ago, I'd like to be where I am now, where I'm comfortable, I don't have to work, I've hit my target, and I'm enjoying life, right? So apart from running, you know, the consulting business, most of the time I'm just looking at trades and I'm enjoying. I'm trading while I'm actually having fun. So about 90% of the time I'm actually either out eating at a night market or playing, I don't know, playing golf or whatever, or traveling while I'm trading. I it's not my life revolves around trading. It's trading is being slotted into what I do in my life, right? So that's the main difference from where I was maybe 10 years ago. 10 years ago I was hunkered down in front of like 6 monitors, making as much as I can every single day because I was trying my best to hit that mark. And that again, we all go through that, right? It's like every business that succeeds and goes really big, you have those first several years where you pull in, 80-hour work weeks and all that stuff to really make it. And we all have to do that. If you're a lazy asshole, it's not going to work, right? It's just not going to help you at all. You got to stop being lazy. So, that I think is the answer from my end, right? You have to answer the question on your own, what you want out of this, right? I could see myself when I'm 60, 70 years old. I'd probably, because I'm Chinese, I'll probably be playing mahjong or something, in the park, whatever, backgammon or checkers, whatever, Chinese checkers, and I'd be trading on the side. I'll probably have like an iPhone hooked up to my brain at that time because I'm sure we all probably have like, you know, that matrix type of brain ports, and we'll just have to hook up ourselves to the matrix, I guess, and trade that way. But that's what I foresee, the several decades coming for myself, right? If you're sitting there listening to, or whatever you're doing now, and listening to this podcast, and you're thinking, gosh darn, 10, 20 years from now, I don't want to be looking at a monitor. I don't want to be looking at charts because there's just so much crap. Then obviously, take what you can get now, do what you can now, make as much money as you can now, and maybe there's something else for you right in the future. I don't know what that is. Maybe you can start your own, I don't know, band or a restaurant or something. I don't know. I truly believe each and every one of us has our own passion, has our own dream, right? And it's just a matter of trying to realize that dream. And some of us it's trading, and that's great. For me it's trading. I can't envision myself running a restaurant. I can't picture myself opening a coffee shop. I'd probably kill myself if I have to like open a coffee shop and be all hipster and crap. It's just not me. So it's really just up to you how you define your future, right? The future is never set. And I'm not trying to sound cliche. I'm not even trying to do like a TED talk here or anything. It's more so just an answer to that question, because it's just kind of interesting when somebody asks us, how to go from point A to point B, or whether or not trading is for them. Nobody can answer that question because that's really something that the person who's just got into trading has to answer. After being exposed to this world, you'll have some sense on whether or not you can handle it or you can't, right? If the answer is no, then, chalk it up or charge it to experience and move on. That's just how it is. I mean, back in the younger days, I had a computer repair business. I mean, just me and a buddy of mine. It wasn't bad, but it was getting old after a while. So it's just one of those things where, it just really depends on where you are. So for the guys who have committed themselves to really trading, you're gonna have to go through the first several years of really learning the stuff, understanding, following the right people. It doesn't. You might not even be a client of ours. You could be with someone else. I don't know who you'll be with, or you could just be on your own. It doesn't matter. You're gonna be learning, and you have to be very receptive to learning. Because if you close your mind, you're not gonna you're not gonna understand what the heck's going on with the market, right? It's so important that you understand where things are gonna be. So you know I guess to kind of sum it up, right? The ingredients to make a successful trader, right, are the following, right? And this is basically from my experience and the people I've seen who have made it in this business. Patience, in industry, basically be industrious, be hardworking, and being open-minded. So if you lack one of those three, find it, make sure you have it, right? I'm not an overly super patient person, but I'm not also a very impatient person. I'm not temperamental. So I guess the biggest struggle I've had over the last few decades was to really be patient. And if you don't do it, trading will force you to develop patience. Don't get me wrong, it will. After many losses, you will learn patience. That is for sure. So, you know, it really is, at the end of the day, up to you what you make of trading, right? I have clients who trade maybe several times, like, maybe like a dozen times only a year, and they're happy with that. For example, take the clients who only trade stock earnings. During the earnings season, they can make anywhere between $10,000 to $30,000 to even $50,000. It's super easy and possible to make that. It sounds crazy, but it is very, very doable. And it's not even joking. So um, people do that. I have a client who is from Hong Kong who makes anywhere between 10 to 40,000 every stock earning season. So you got 4 quarters every year, right? So if you average that out, you're making maybe 20,000 per quarter. So you make 80,000. Now, if you're living in Hong Kong, it really just depends on where you live, right? If you're living in a very expensive place, 80,000 US isn't really gonna cut it. Don't get me wrong, it's expensive there. But if you're living modestly, I think you're gonna be okay. Now, contrast that to a Korean client of mine who is an engineer and he makes some money on the side on trading as well. You know, he's making about $3,000 an engineer, and then making roughly about 2 to 3 thousand as well on trading per month. So he's basically making 100% of his monthly income from that, right? So it just really depends. Like I said, it just really depends on your goals. Depends on what your plans are. You can be as intense as you want or as laid back as you want. It just really depends on your goals and your life situation too, right? Some of you may have maybe juggling two wives, three girlfriends, whatever, right? There's a lot. There's a lot. All of us have different living circumstances, and this is just one of those things, right? That we all need to uh, be clear on. Okay, so for me, I was fortunate that I got into trading before I got married, before I finished university. So I had so much time. I had time to make mistakes. I had time to waste a lot of money, and I wasn't gonna have to answer to anyone because it was all my own money. It was all my mistakes to make, right? That was the fortunate circumstance that I had. It may not be the same as you, but if you have the same circumstance as me, take advantage of your freedom. Take advantage of what you can do, and if you're in your early 20s or early, I don't know, teens, this is a time to make mistakes. This is a time to get out there and you know go for it, right? Because once you're in your 30s or 40s and you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, just things just get complicated. It just does. Just how it is. And when you have kids and everything, you just want to, it just becomes really complicated, and it's going to be very difficult to kind of manage things, right? So, um, that's basically what it is. People need to simplify what they want in life. You don't have to overcomplicate things. What I find with people is that they make excuses, and stop making excuses. If this is really what you want, you make the time to do it. You make the time to really achieve what you want. And if it doesn't work out, at least you can say, you know what, I tried. Remember that it's much more painful emotionally to go through life with regrets than to go through life without regrets. I'd rather be that guy who's probably sitting at some park bench somewhere when I'm 60, who could tell myself or my grandkids, you know what? I asked the girls that I wanted to ask out, even though they said no, I did it anyway, as opposed to being all, eclectic or nostalgic and tell my grandkids how much of a pussy I was, saying that, oh, I really like this chick, but I was too scared she would reject me, and then my kid would be like, Grandpa, you're a pussy. Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Um, so those of you who've been wondering the question, who've been kind of circling around that question, is trading for me? Can I keep doing this for the next 10 years? Can I keep doing this for 20 years? Where do I see myself in the next 10 or 20 years? You got to answer yourself, right? I mean, I've been doing this for almost 14 years now, and I have no sign. I have no plans of stopping. I love doing it. It's fun. And I've gotten to the point, like I said, that I only trade maybe 1 hour a day, and I make a few thousand. I'm not in that region before where I would make like several thousands of dollars. Like before when I first started, you know, an average day would be 10, 20, 30,000 day trading. But that's spread over like 10, 12 hours of trading, right? That's a lot of Red Bull, a lot of skipped lunches and breakfasts, right? So that wasn't nice to my body at the time for sure. So it's really just up to you, okay? And I hope that in this sort of monologue or sort of intro or discussion or discourse, you can really understand if this is really something you want to do and whether or not you can see yourself doing this for 5 or 10 or 20 years, because this job is extremely unique. And I think Druckenmiller said it appropriately that we're all fortunate, all of us traders are very fortunate to be able to engage in a job, quote unquote job, that really does have no net social benefit, right? If you really look at it, right, a doctor, well, he or she gets paid so much money, is helping people. An engineer gets paid okay money, but he or she is creating something. A trader isn't really doing anything. If you really look at it, you're wearing your pajamas, you're probably naked, whatever. You're trading in your bed, and you're providing quote unquote liquidity on a BS market that doesn't even have proper liquidity anyway, right? So, but you're making money. You're making money out of nothing, right? So that in itself, Druckenmiller said it quite appropriately that he's been very fortunate to be in a job that he's really good at that really does provide no net social benefit. Which is true though. There is no net social benefit. If you really look at it, do traders have a social benefit for the world? Definitely not. So, but it is a fun thing to do. And I guess if you're going to try to look at it from a social aspect, if you make a lot of money, then you can go and help people, right? You can go and donate some of your funds to, I don't know, Red Cross or something, right? So that's what it is, folks. And I hope that for the clients who asked this question, I hope this really answers that. And really, trading is what you make of it. You can be as intense as you can to make a crap ton of money every day, every week, every month, every year, or you can be as laid back. It's really dependent on how you are. If you're the kind of guy who wants to buy a Ferrari next year, then you better get cracking and trade as much as you can, because that $300,000 car is not gonna buy itself, right? But if you're the guy who's just happy with his Kia, whatever their cars are now, I can't remember what a Kia sedan is now. I don't know what they're called. Or I guess I'll just use a Hyundai. So a Hyundai Sonata or something. Then yeah, there you go, right? Then you should be okay with that. If you're just the kind of person who's happy with a Honda Civic, for example, it's like $12,000. Then yeah, you don't need to make a lot of money. Just happy. Car's a car, right? So um, again, we're just very, very, very fortunate to have uh, a very wide spectrum, if you like, of demographics in terms of our client base, right? Um, we have drivers, if you're looking at it from a scholastic point of view, we got drivers on the far end of the spectrum, and then on the other side of the spectrum, we got PhDs in economics and whatever, right? Doctorates and medical doctors and lawyers, right? So all of them are basically at a level playing field when you're trading. Your degrees don't matter, your educational achievement or educational levels don't matter when it comes to trading. It's how smart you are at analyzing what's going on. That's what determines your success, right? If you look at all those Chicago Pit guys, they barely went to college. They always made fun of college kids in Wall Street, actually, because, again, right? You just need street smarts to really look at trading, right? Not everything is in the charts. Not everything is just looking at the news as well. Okay, so I hope at least you feel enlightened. Feel free to read or uh, re-listen to this, or if this is your perfect nighttime story to make you fall asleep, by all means keep playing it. It's all good. So, trading is what you make of it, and never ever, and if you're a successful trader, never ever stop thanking your lucky stars that you've been blessed with this wonderful ability, because remember, you belong to the valuable 5% of people out there who actually can do this profitably. It's very, very rare to find people successful at trading. Very rare. All right, so take care. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and until next time, bye for now.